Hey guys, Sure Shot Midget here. Apologize about the sounds. They're redoing a roof over there, so they're using a staple gun or nail gun or whatever they use. So you might hear them popping off over there. So this is a customer's gun. It is a dual sector gear. See what I'm saying? No full auto. Yeah, this is a dual sector gear. It is ICS, which is kind of one of my least favorite guns to DSG. I've done a lot of SSGs, 30 RPS, like no problem with those. But this is the third ICS M4 that I've DSG'd, and the third with problems. I've had problems with every single one of them. It's like the nozzle length combined with the tappet plate. It just does not work very well for full auto. Semi-auto was perfect on this the whole time, but the full auto was really bad. So currently we're not getting as high of rate of fire as he wanted. This is an indoor gun, so I talked to him about it and I was like, we're getting 35, which is pretty solid, and he's going to need to use high caps if he uses the full auto, but DSGs are just god tier for indoor, for semi-auto. Like, the trigger response on these DSGs are insane. You don't have to deal with a hose for indoor, which is something that I really don't like indoors, is using HPA with hoses. Plus, there's so much bias against HPA. A bunch of these people that just don't know much about the game, I guess, they see the scary hose come out of their gun and they know, like, ooh, HPA is quick. And, like, they hear all these stories about how people cheat with HPA, and it's just, it's toxic, and it just spreads around the community, and then a bunch of these people that don't know much about the sport think that HPA players are constantly cheating, or they hurt more, or which can be the case with dual creep, but most fields, a lot of them, compensate for that anyways, especially indoors. Regardless of that rant, DSGs, in my opinion, if somebody says, I want a good M4 based gun that has really snappy trigger response and can be used for indoor, I would say DSG. Now, the reason why I specified M4 is because there's all these other systems, like you can get bullpup guns, you can get AKs, you can get this, you can get that, and DSGs aren't quite as good on those systems. DSGs on M4s are just the cream of the crop. I mean, these are just awesome. You know, M4s are one of the best guns to DSG. Other guns, like if you want a Tavor or like an AUG or like those weirder guns and you really want to use those, then okay, I'd probably say do HPA with those, because they make systems and where you can do different nozzle lengths and fit those kind of non-standard guns. But to DSG those can be a huge pain. Some people do it just to kind of be a little bit different, which is awesome. But I don't have enough time on my hands to throw a DSG in like a Thompson, or throw a DSG in a PPSH, or do this or do that. All these kind of interesting things and cool things to mess around with. I don't have time for that. Start from the front and go to the back. So the front, there is a steel flash hider on here, which is pretty cool. I don't think this came with it. This is one of the UK, whatever they call them. I will put it in the description, the right model of this gun. It is a short-barreled version, like you see. So if you want an indoor gun, this is going to be your best bet. So it's got like a 10-inch barrel. It's got a key mod rail, which is actually pretty cool. It's very thick. I'm not a huge fan of like thick rails. I like thin, like the key mod you can wrap your hand around pretty easily. This is almost like a hybrid. It's similar maybe to like their ACR, their APE, which I have one of those. They come with key mod. The rail looks similar, but this is thicker. So it's just a thicker style rail, but it's still key mod, so it's still modular. There is one rail on the bottom and then the monolithic one on the top. It is CNC'd aluminum. The body on here is not CNC, I don't think. It's just kind of a pot metal, but it is pretty solid. It is ICS, so it does have a split gearbox. So you can pull the rear body pin out and split the gun open, which is pretty cool. So yeah, metal body. Pistol grip on here is pretty cool. It is ICS, so it does come with it. I am a huge fan of ICS grips, to be honest. I have a couple. It just has your standard features like the charging handle, the dust cover, safe semi-auto, basic settings, no ambi features. Now there is no stock on here. He didn't send a stock, so I don't know if he plans on putting one on here, I assume. I think he said something to me about doing a stubby stock, but honestly, this gun only needs a 2000 milliamp 11.1, so he could fit this in a crane stock. So if I were him, I would just toss the buffer tube on here, the original one, and a crane stock, and get 2 of these, and you're set. All day use, you can use 2 of these, and it'll last you all day for indoor use for sure. Let's deal with the internals in here. So ICS is pretty solid. This is one of their newer systems, the way the charging handle assembly works and such. They've changed a couple things. So the charging handle pops off. It does have an A and B latch on there, which is cool. The upper gearbox here has a SHS nozzle, SHS tappet, SHS metal rack piston, stock cylinder head. It has a Raptor's Airsoft, which is supposedly made in the U.S., M150 spring. It's probably not made in the U.S., it's probably packaged here, made in China or something, but the spring looks good quality, and it seems solid. I don't have any gripes with it at all. The SHS piston comes with an aluminum piston head on it as well. The hop-up is a metal hop-up. They started doing these metal hop-ups in their guns a couple years ago. Honestly, really good hop-ups. It has a Lonex 70-degree bucking and a VFC barrel. It is steel. We have a BTC Spectre Mark II Bluetooth, brand new. You can see that right there. He sent me a Mark I, and I had to send it back to, I'll be honest, I've had this gun in my house, in my possession, for about 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and I haven't done anything with it. And I felt pretty bad. And I found out that BTC Spectres were back in stock, so I ordered 3 of them, and I had one laying around. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to toss this one in this gun for this guy. I'm going to keep the Mark I, send it back, and get it fixed, and I'll deal with that so that I can get the gun back to him as soon as possible. So yeah, it's got a brand new Spectre with the Bluetooth, which is cool. A couple settings that I changed in there, and I'll mention that later. There's an SHS DSG with a ZCI 1601 spur gear and ZCI bevel gear. A retro arm straight trigger, short trigger pull mod, and a SHS high torque motor, 16 TPA. It's basically a balance. Brand new. All the parts are brand new. I didn't try to hack anything in and do any, used parts or anything. I'm not about doing that. It is shooting a little bit higher on the FPS scale. It's shooting about 365, 370 with .2s, and it needs to be at 350. So I'm hoping that shooting it will make the spring break in, but worst case, I guess I can just cut a coil or 2 off the spring just to bring it down a little bit. The detention spring system is non-functional, so when he opens this gun up, your piston might be back a little bit, and it might go and shoot forward kind of thing when you split the receiver because the piston's being held back. So I recommend plugging like a 7.4 in here, maybe just a low-powered 11.1. Plug that in here and cycle it a couple times, and then you can split the receiver. But if you're using this battery, which is what I'd recommend, and the piston will probably be back just a little bit, ever so slightly. So I recommend just not tearing it open all the time because that piston is going to slide forward. My knee is broken, if you didn't know. There's going to be a video coming on that later. Yeah, shoots really good. And of course, because it is a BTC in here and a DSG, it's got no delay on semi-auto, so you can just hammer the trigger as fast as you want, which is kind of awesome when you're spending $100 on a MOSFET. It's awesome to be able to have that feature. I mean, it's $100 for just electronics. So that's a great advantage to be able to have that trigger response. Try some full auto. Pretty solid. You've got to keep winding the mags. I am happy to report that the range on full auto is the same as semi-auto, so he's still going to get 200 feet on full auto. He does skip every now and again, so the feeding's not like 100%. You can hear it skip. There goes the mag. But yeah, that fed pretty good, and pretty happy with the performance overall. 319, 324, 319, 320, 320, 322, 322. So I went inside and I cut the spring just a little bit, just like probably 1 or 2 coils. And now we're at 322 with 0.25s, which is 1.21 joules, which is just about 355. So right where I want it, so I lowered the FPS a little bit. And as you can see there, there's nothing about this that is slow. So as you can see there on semi, it is 200 feet, very consistent. Oh, it's so fun. I don't have much ammo left, so let's try a little bit of full auto. And there's the mag. So there it is, guys. Recap, shooting about 355 with .2s at 35 rounds a second with one of these 11.1s with the full auto delay, so it feeds and has good range and accuracy. So yeah, pretty solid gun. It is built for indoors, so you know, toss a freaking buffer tube on here, crane stock, and man, this thing is just gonna kill. I would recommend getting these batteries, 15 to 25C, 2000 milliamp. These are great batteries. These will house inside of a crane stock, no problem. He probably has other batteries. He might have some higher power ones. I don't have much active braking on here, so if you really do plug a big battery in here, it'll probably overspin on semi-auto, and you have to turn the active braking up. But I tuned it for this battery, and everything functions flawlessly. This just screams indoor to me. So he did say he wanted it built for indoor because he wants to use it indoor, so he's probably not even going to take it outdoor, to be honest, because he said he has like 2 other DSGs. So this one's probably just going to be a mainly indoor one, so the rate of fire is really not going to matter. But if you have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.